Shalom, family. This is Yuda. Is Satan a female? We got to be careful what we teach. Even when you are not completely aware of the subject at hand or false narratives, because you will be participating in that false narrative. And you got to remember, you're treading on sacred ground. So we should always teach what Torah says, not what we think. So let's make this plain. Some are saying Satan is a woman. But Torah does not say that, not once. Satan is not male, nor is Satan female. Satan is a spirit, an enemy of truth. In Genesis chapter 3, the serpent tricks the woman, but the fight is not between the woman and the serpent. The fight is between the serpent and the woman's seed. I will put enmity between thee and the woman, and between thy seed and her seed. Genesis chapter 3, verse 15. That means the serpent is at war with the righteous seed, not with gender. In Job, Satan comes before Yah to accuse. No gender is mentioned. In Zechariah, Satan stands against the high priest. Again, no gender is mentioned. So in all of Torah, Satan is described by function, not by gender. That proclamation that Satan is a woman is not new, and it's loaded with symbolics, theological, and esoteric implications. It's not a Torah-rooted claim, but it has surfaced in Gnostic writings, occult traditions, and feminist reinterpretations of Genesis. So let's look at it carefully so we can expose the overlay and teach the remnant with clarity. So where does the origins of Satan as a woman motif come from? Gnostic esoteric traditions. Some Gnostic sects reimagine the serpent in Eden as a liberator, not a deceiver. In these texts, the serpent, sometimes feminized, brings knowledge to Eve, challenging the Creator's authority. The figure of the Baphomet, often associated with Satan in occult circles, is depicted as androgynous or hermaphroditic, which blurs gender to symbolize duality and rebellion. For example, Lilith and feminist reinterpretations. Lilith is a figure from Jewish mysticism and sometimes called the first wife of Adam, who refused submission. In the 19th century literature, she was rebranded as a feminist icon and linked to satanic rebellion. Some feminist writers portray Satan as a female force of liberation, opposing patriarchal structures. This is not Torah. This is ideological inversion. Witchcraft and folklore. In medieval witch trials, women were often accused of consorting with Satan or embodying demonic traits. This led to the motif of the devil is a woman, especially in European folklore. Erotic and mystical unions between women and Satan were imagined in these trials. Again, this is not Torah, but fear-based projection. Torah does not feminize Satan. The serpent in Genesis chapter 3 is described as crafty, not gender. The enmity is between the seed of the woman and the serpent, not between the woman and a feminized Satan. Satan is a spiritual adversary, not a gendered being. Assigning gender creates a distraction from his function: deception, accusation, and rebellion. So why this overlay is so dangerous? Because it confuses spiritual roles and it weaponizes gender against discernment. It distracts from covenant warfare by turning Satan into a symbol of liberation or oppression, depending on the lens of the person. It erases the clarity of Genesis chapter 3 verse 15, where the true battle is between the seed lines, not the genders. That distortion must be addressed with precision, humility, and fire. So when the scatter began teaching that Satan is a woman, it signals a deeper confusion, not just about spiritual adversaries, but about seed line warfare, gender roles, and Torah fidelity. So here's how you can deal with this thing effectively and restore clarity without causing unnecessary division. So let's confront the Satan is a woman narrative. Let's anchor our response in Torah, not our emotions. So let's begin with Genesis chapter 3 verse 15. The enmity is between the seed of the woman and the serpent, not between the woman and a feminized Satan. Satan is not gendered in Scripture. His role is adversary, accuser, deceiver, not male or female. Assigning gender to Satan is a Gnostic and occult overlay. This is not Torah-based truth. And I will put enmity between thee and the woman, and between thy seed and her seed. Again, that's Genesis chapter 3, verse 15. So the origins of this false teaching. This idea comes from Gnostic texts that reframe the serpent as a liberator. These are occult traditions that depict Satan as an androgynous or feminine. It's a feminist reinterpretation that weaponizes gender against Torah order. These overlays are designed to confuse roles, blur boundaries, and distract from seed line warfare. So we will build a scroll to clarify the conflict. The true battle is seed line versus seed line, not male versus female. This is correction, not condemnation. So I'm not attacking the teacher, I'm attacking the claim. The responsibility of the remnant is to discern symbolic language. We should teach that spiritual entities are often symbolized, but symbols must be tested by function and the fruit. Satan may appear as a serpent, dragon, or an angel of light, but his gender is irrelevant because his function is deception. Gendering Satan distracts from his tactics and it weakens spiritual warfare. So the Satan is a woman claim. Satan's role in Torah is functional, not gendered. Genesis chapter 3, the serpent is described as crafty, not male or female. The enmity is between the serpent and the seed of the woman, not the woman herself. Job chapter 1 and verse 2. Satan appears before Yah to accuse Job. There was no gender assigned, only the role of an accuser. Zechariah chapter 3, Satan opposes the high priest. Again, no gender mentioned, only opposition. 1 Chronicles chapter 21 and verse 1, Satan incites David to number Israel. There was no gender mentioned, just pure function. Satan is consistently described by function: adversary, accuser, deceiver, not by gender or appearance or form. This is why gendering Satan is spiritually dangerous. It confuses the remnant, turning spiritual warfare into a gender warfare. It distracts from seed line conflict, which is the true battle described in Genesis chapter 3, verse 15. It opens the door to symbolic speculation, which weakens Torah fidelity and communal clarity. So use this Torah strategy. Ask for Torah proof. Ask, where in Torah is Satan described as a woman? Genesis chapter 3, verse 15. Teach that the serpent opposes the seed, not the gender. Satan is a spiritual being assigned to oppose covenant alignment, not a gendered figure. Satan is a spiritual adversary, not male or female. The true battle is between the seed lines, the righteous seed and the rebellious seed. So what's the danger of speculation? Saying that Satan is a woman brings confusion. It turns spiritual warfare into a gender warfare. It distracts from the real battle, seed line versus seed line. So what's the truth? Satan is a deceiver. Satan is an accuser. Satan is an enemy of covenant, but Satan is not a woman. Let's stay in Torah. Let's teach the truth. As teachers of Torah, truth, let's protect the remnant from this confusion. So what does Torah say? Genesis chapter 3, serpent deceives the woman. No gender was assigned. Job chapter 1 verse 2. Satan accuses Job before Yah. No gender mentioned. Zechariah chapter 3. Satan opposes the high priest. No gender mentioned. 1 Chronicles 21 and verse 1. Satan incites David. No gender mentioned. So why does this matter? Because gendering Satan causes confusion. It distracts from the true enemy and it weakens spiritual discernment. So no opinion or speculation should ever enter into Torah. The danger of inserting your opinion into the Torah is spiritual distortion. And for the scattered, it can be fatal. Here's why. It replaces divine instruction with human thought. Torah is not a suggestion. It's a covenant law. When you insert opinion, you shift from thus saith Yah to here's what I think. That opens the door to error, confusion, and rebellion. You should not add to the word which I command you, nor take from it. Deuteronomy chapter 4 verse 2. The scattered are already wounded and searching for truth. If you teach opinion as Torah, you mislead them. That blood is on your hands. Woe to the shepherds who destroy and scatter the sheep of my pasture. Jeremiah 23 verse 1. Torah is the covenant. Twisting it breaks the agreement. That invites judgment, not just for you, but for those that follow you. Opinion pollutes the altar. It delays the return of the remnant. So teach only what's written and make clear when you are speculating. Teach Torah, not speculation. Torah shows Satan operating in the heavenly realm. You have never heard of a female angel or a female adversary. Job chapter 1 verse 6 to 7. Now there was a day when the sons of the Creator came to present themselves before Yah, and Satan came also among them. Satan is among heavenly beings, not walking on earth in flesh. He presents himself before Yah. That's a spiritual realm. Zechariah chapter 3 verse 1 to 2. And he showed me Joshua, the high priest, standing before the angel of Yah, and Satan standing at his right hand to resist him. This is a vision. Satan is resisting the priest in a spiritual courtroom, not in a physical form. 1 Chronicles chapter 21 and verse 1. And Satan stood up against Israel and provoked David to number Israel. Satan influenced David's thoughts. That's spiritual manipulation. That's not a physical presence. There is no physical description of Satan in Torah anywhere. Satan is never described with a body or face or gender or form. He's always described by function: accuser, deceiver, adversary. Torah never says Satan walked, Satan ate, Satan slept, or Satan appeared in flesh. Satan is a spirit, an adversary who operates through deception and accusation. He moves in the unseen realm, influencing thoughts and resisting righteousness. Torah never gives him a body or a gender or physical traits. If it's not written, we don't teach it. If it's not described, we don't imagine it. If it's not Torah, it's simply not the truth. Torah is precise, and when it speaks of messengers or malachim or adversaries, Satan, it never assigns any female identity. That silence is not by accident. It protects the integrity of the function over the form, and spirit over speculation. There are no female angels. There are no female adversaries. Always described in masculine terms when gendered: he appeared or he spoke. Examples in Genesis chapter 18 verse 19, 3 men, angels, visited Abraham, and later they went to Sodom. There was no female traits involved. Judges chapter 13, the angel who appears to Manoah and his wife is described as a man of the Creator. Daniel chapter 10, Gabriel appears as a man clothed in linen. Angels are messengers. They are not gendered beings. Torah uses masculine grammar but never feminizes any of them. The adversary is Satan, never described with gender, body, or form. Appears in Job chapter 1 verse 2 as an accuser before Yah. Zechariah 3 as a spiritual opponent of the high priest. 1 Chronicles 21 and 1 as a provocateur against Israel. Satan is a spirit defined by a role, not by a gender or appearance or by an identity. So why is this important for the remnant? Gendering spiritual beings leads to confusion, overlays, and false teachings. Torah teaches order. Male and female are for human covenant roles, not for spirits. Restoration requires clarity. If it's not written, we shouldn't teach it. If it's not described, we should never imagine it. So what are the penalties for teaching speculation instead of Torah? You bear the blood of the ones you mislead. Son of man, I have made you a watchman. If you do not warn them, his blood I will require at your hand. Ezekiel chapter 3 verses 17 to 18. If you teach error and others fall because of it, you are accountable. So speculation that leads others astray is blood on your hands. You broke the covenant if you do these things. You shall not add to the word which I command you, nor take from it. Deuteronomy chapter 4 verse 2. Adding opinions, theories, or overlays to Torah is a violation of the covenant. It's rebellion disguised as teaching. You invite judgment. Woe to the shepherds who destroy and scatter the sheep. Woe to the shepherds who destroy and scatter the sheep of my pasture. Jeremiah 23 verse 1. False teachings brings woe, not just correction, but destruction. Those who scatter the flock through speculation will be judged. So you delay restoration of the remnant because every false teaching slows down the awakening of the remnant. It pollutes the altar, it confuses the scattered, and it delays the return. So my advice to every teacher that teaches such thing as Satan is a woman, teach only what is written and make it clear when something is your opinion, never present it as Torah. Show the scripture first and then your commentary second. Most model humility. Correct yourself publicly when needed. That builds trust and protects the flock. So watch yourselves. Pay attention to whoever and whatever they teach you. Make sure you test that against the Torah. If you can't find any scripture in Torah that describes Satan's with hands, feet, necks, eyes, nose, ears, and mouth, then it's not there. So be careful. Shalom.